Here in North America, we are in a state of overspending, and I'm sure you've all noticed the change. After the fallout of the pandemic, the high interest rates and the soaring inflation, things are finally getting better for consumer optimism, and falling prices are driving consumer spending again. And the economy is recovering just in time for that Christmas overdrive spending. But the thing is, we are still broke. Credit spending is driving the economy. But while most people will continue with historically poor spending habits, you can make a change and stop your spending. I did just the same just 3 years ago, after decades of being a heavy consumer. I broke free from materialism and consumerism with some simple steps, and now we're working towards our financial freedom. It's a complete 180 life change. So by the end of the video, you're going to have the same strategy that I used to break free. But before we do that, I want to touch on some of the reasons why we spend so much. Over 70% of people in the US are carrying over their credit card balance every single month, which means they're overspending. They're not earning enough to clear the balance. So that is 2/3 of the country overspending every month on clothes, going out, eating out, and impulse buys. And the reasons behind this range from systemic poor financial habits, financial worries and struggles, and consumer addiction. They are literally buying stuff to get that consumer high or to make themselves feel better. The stuff is just an excuse. So addicted to shopping that they go out to get that hit, and their credit card is only too happy to oblige. Financial worries and money stress can also be a symptom of consumer spending, as people buy stuff to make themselves feel better. It's that immediate feel-good purchase to chase away that overwhelming feeling of mounting credit card debt. So people bury their head in the sand, knowing they don't have the funds to make the purchase, but they do it anyway for some fleeting relief. Lack of satisfaction with your job or being unfulfilled at work can also encourage consumer spending to compensate. Buying stuff becomes a pick-me-up or a distraction to get you through a long week of a mundane or a low-paid job. And on top of all these reasons lies the biggest and most suffocating reason of all, and one we could all relate to at some point in our lives. The sad reality that there seems to be no change, no escape from our circumstances in the future. There's nothing in sight to change our financial circumstances, no one coming to save us, and no one to even point us the way. This is just how life is, and people accept their fate. We just try to do the best we can. There seems to be nothing on the horizon to give us a fresh start with our finances, so we just bed down and make the best of it. It's really no wonder we get entrenched in the consumer trap and take solace in shopping to feel better. But this is the best time to make a change, in desperation, to tackle the problem at the root cause. But before we do that, it's critical that we know what our options are and what we must do to maximize our success rate. And if there's an element of consumer addiction, which is a real problem, this needs to be addressed as well. On a side note, if you've got this far in the video, this is a huge step. Your willingness and openness to address and repair your financial habits is a step most people don't bother to take. In my experience, it was the hardest thing to do, so well done, it's a big step. So identifying some or most of the issues that's causing you to overspend your money and leaving yourself broke has replaced a bleak horizon with a glimmer of hope. There's always a light at the end of the tunnel, but now's not a time to wait. Now we need to work out what we need to do to restore your financial health. For me, 3 years ago, the what was clear. I needed to cut my spending and do it drastically. Now it was hard at first, but I started to adjust my consumer habits by making changes in all aspects of my life. I stopped eating out for lunch every day or going to restaurants at the weekends. I had hobbies, very expensive hobbies. I stopped them. I changed my shopping habits for clothes and shoes and started to look at what I needed versus what I wanted, and I stopped impulse buying. As another side note, when I looked at what I needed versus what I wanted, I was shocked just how far apart those two camps were. I was beginning to really find out where my money was going. So by analysing and going over all the expensive consumer habits I had in my life and making changes to them, I literally felt the chains of consumerism falling off me one by one. Now, was it tough to get started? Absolutely. In fact, I went back to my old financial habits more than once. But in those few occasions, I'd remind myself of our financial reality and the goals we had set to break free. And it was my financial and personal goals that really made it easier to stick to. For example, if I could get through a week of not buying lunch or coffee every day, at the end of the week, I'd give myself a small treat. I made financial goals to stop spending money, to stop wasting money on subscriptions, and to check my bank account for those charges we all forget about. But it wasn't just financial goals that I made personal goals too, and they were critical for my success. One of my personal goals was to educate myself and become more financial literate, to understand money and how to grow it and make wealth. Another personal goal was to work on my health and work on my diet, to spend more time in the gym, take up some sports, and look after myself. After all, this year, I turned 50. So you can replace a bad habit with a good habit and that can improve your life and bring you happiness. And by consistently hitting your goals, you can work towards a bigger reward. Turn a no into a not yet. Delayed gratification works wonders for me. For me, it taught me how to earn something and not just go out and spend money to make myself feel better. Lastly, we looked at our job and our main income source to see how we can improve and do better. The way I see it, if you want to earn more, you need to add more value and improve yourself. You can upskill. You can take a course and become more knowledgeable. You can do the hours that nobody else wants to do. Bottom line, make yourself indispensable and argue for a promotion or a pay rise. Take a risk, add value and commitment. Most employers love that. And if they don't see your value, go and find somebody who will. Offer your services elsewhere. Don't remain and stay unfulfilled. This doesn't help your mental health and it won't improve your income. Our peak earning years are fleeting and we need to make the most of them. What we need to do here is spend less money, but earning more money will help us too. And the how brings it all together to set the stage to change our lives and our financial future for the first time. So at this point we have a good idea of why we overspend, and now we understand what we need to do. Finally, we arrive at the how, and how we turn action in hitting our personal and financial goals. And the single biggest help to get you to your goals is to budget your salary. And because I found this boring at first, the simplest way I found to do this was to divide up the salary before I even got it. Firstly, I divided it into my needs, like mortgage, rent, bills, travel to work, and food. Then I divided the remainder into my wants, which would be days out, shopping, treats, and hobbies. This allowed me to be accountable for where all my money went and ensured I had all my needs taken care of first. My needs would also include investing, my emergency fund, and my debt pay down. Now I know what you may be thinking, there's a lot in this need category, but if you're going to get your financial health back, you need to prioritize your resources. So by highlighting your list of wants, you're going to minimize your overspend. The budget is there to help you control the money and how you use it, and not money control you. Because until this point, this is what's been happening. Another great asset I found in the battles to control overspending was to remove temptation, and by that, I mean social media. Get rid of it. You need to understand two things about social media. Number one, unsustainable fake lifestyles that only show you the best bits that they want you to see. Number two, the feelings that make you want to go spend money to feel better about yourself and your life. Do yourself a favor, get rid of it. It's not helping you. And if you've got a serious problem about overspending and you're serious about changing that, you need to use all the resources at your disposal to guarantee success. Just like putting away your credit card until you feel responsible to use it, put away social media, at least for now. Focus on what's important for you. You are breaking free of the consumer trap and building a healthy financial future for yourself. The last thing you need are photos and videos of people designed to make you want to spend and be lavish. So if you're serious about changing your life, I suggest you leave this behind. At least your new financial habits are strong enough to deal with all the noise and fakery of social media. That reminds me, if you can give up social media, why don't you try a no spend for 30 or 60 days? Learn how to discipline your spending by only spending money on your needs for 1 month. And if you can save the money from your wants for 30 days, take that money at the end of the month and put it on your debt pay down. I would also encourage you to write down and document what you're saving, not just what you're spending, because that will empower you and motivate you. After all, building new good habits to replace the old poor ones is how you're going to win, is how you're going to break free. To encourage success, replace a spending trip to a trip to the gym or a family visit. Instead of eating out, eat in and invite friends over to come and bring desserts. Replacing bad habits with new good ones will fulfill your goals and is the pathway to success. Keep overspending your money will only lead to misery, unmanageable debt, and an unhealthy lifestyle. Carrying on like this, a pay rise or a big promotion won't help you. Lifestyle inflation will take that away from you and leave you in the hole, only deeper. Break free, form new habits, get a support structure around you, and delay your gratification. It changed our lives, and it will change yours too. And if you need help with your salary and how to maximize it every month, check out this video here, and I'll show you everything that I did with my salary. I'll show you my payday routine and how it helped me fix my finances and help me build my wealth. I'll see you there.